So today, I'm going to share about what I heard on April 15th. And it's actually a weekly core mission strategic meeting. We have this every week. The aim was to plan ahead. The aim was for the 4 missions to be able to plan ahead together, facing whatever the obstacles that each of the individual mission or charity, the 4 missions, the charity, medicine, mission of charity, mission of medicine, mission of education, and mission of humanistic culture. And we have all these, all 4 missions come together every week, discussing about the strategic progression in terms of what we're going to do and how we're going to advance Master's teaching. And this particular week, April 15th, was a session on hospital and school joint session. And what that means is it's not just the 4 missions, but rather there was one meeting, 1 week that was completely dedicated to the functions of hospitals and schools, and specifically the cooperation of hospitals and schools. Okay, so you can imagine the schools would be the medical school, okay? And so what they talked about was the future advancements of Tzu Chi Medical School through the cooperation of schools and hospitals. So you can imagine there are some curriculums that are now currently missing in our medical school, namely the School of Dentistry and the schools of pharmaceutical. So these are the 2 schools that are actually missing, or they haven't. They have departments, but they don't actually have the official. I'm not sure what that's called, but they have these departments, but they can't actually produce. They don't have the placements in the entire national in the entire national system. Okay, let's just say so. It was great to be able to hear what the schools were trying to do. You know, our principals and our department heads, they were proposing new ideas. They're proposing new ideas to how do you advance, how do you talk to the health department, the Department of Education, so that we can be allowed and granted the departments. So what I heard was, not only were the schools working very hard, but most importantly, what I heard was from the superintendents. There was Superintendent Lin of the Tzu Chi Hualien Hospital, and then Superintendent Zhao of Tzu Chi Taipei Hospital. Now, they both commented on this. And well, actually, they were the only 2 superintendents that were on site on that day. But they both commented on the same thing, and that gave me a lot of thoughts. They gave me a lot of thoughts about what they said. And here's what they said. So they said, because other education here in Hualien was perhaps the most important strategic decision. And why was that? Why was establishing medical schools here and education facilities here in Hualien the most important strategic decision? Why? They said, because while it is very difficult to move teachers to Hualien to teach, you can still do it. But it's even more difficult to attract students to come to Hualien, even if you have great teachers, to come to Hualien and then stay after graduation. So what that means is, what that makes it difficult to attract anyone to Hualien. However, it is least difficult, or it is the simplest, most straightforward, is to attract teachers to Hualien to teach. to teach the locals here in Hualien, because it's very difficult to attract others to come and learn. And it's even more impossible for anyone who was attracted here to stay after graduation. So you would have these medical facilities that require foreign lands or foreign manpower from other places to come and provide the manpower. And that would be very difficult. It's a lot easier to just have the teachers come and teach the locals. So they said the best way is to develop local homegrown students that have already bonded with the land. And that makes a lot of sense. And the reason why this even came out was that the schools, our medical school and also our Tzu Chi University, had to make a pitch to the departments to let them know why we deserve another department of dentistry, another department of pharmacy here in Hualien when it's already when it's already very much populated, when it's already very condensed, it's already very dense. Why do we still need it here? And while the school side came up with a lot of technical and a lot of reasons and merits why what we have done in the past deserves a recognition, deserves the placement of these departments. Both superintendents mentioned that our placement here in Hualien is perhaps the most important strategic decision, in that you have got to focus on the fact that we are now helping the local here, the Hualien, the eastern part of Taiwan, to develop these talents, to develop these professionals that are needed here. And the best way to do that is for the teachers to come here and develop their skills of the students here, rather than to import the professionals from other places, because it's very difficult for them to stay. Okay, so that was their reason, and the principals, they exchanged ideas, and that was very good. Now, the moment that I heard about this, I thought, wow, this was interesting discussion. I don't know about the strategies of hospitals or schools. I don't know about these potential cooperations that could happen or how that will work. But it reminds me of the Lotus Sutra, chapter 15, which was the emergence from the earth. Okay, the Bodhisattvas emerging from the earth. And in there was these segments that I wanted to share with you. So these are the sutra, okay, the text, the sutra text. The great Bodhisattvas who had arrived from other lands and whose number exceeded that of the sands of 8 Ganges rivers stood up in great assembly, bowed with their palms pressed together, and then spoke to the Buddha. So this was coming from chapter 15, And this is what was said. So the Bodhisattvas of the other land came to the Saha world, and then they were bowing to the Buddha. And they said to the Buddha, "O Buddha, if you give us permission to diligently strive to preserve, recite, copy, and pay homage to the sutra, after the passing of the Buddha in this Saha world, we will extensively teach this sutra in this land." So they're praying, they were begging for the Buddha to allow them to stay. And then the Buddha replied, "Enough. Everyone, there is no need for you to preserve this sutra. Why? Because in this Saha world, there are great bodhisattvas equal to the sands of 60,000 Ganges rivers in number." Okay, so this means a lot. Okay, a lot. And each of these bodhisattvas in turn has a retinue equal to the sands of 60,000 Ganges rivers. After my passing, they can persevere, they can preserve, recite, and extensively teach the sutra. And this really greatly recall in my mind to the entire discussion last week when the Superintendent Lin and Superintendent Zhao, they mentioned about their observation that it's a lot difficult to get people to stay if you import them, if you get them from other places. However, it's easier to just ask teachers to come to this land and teach. And that was a great point. That was a great point. So what the superintendents were saying was that we have to tell the Department of Education and all the necessary departments that, yes, to help bolster the medical facilities here in the eastern part of Taiwan, you can always bring in talents and professionals from the West Coast, but they won't stay. And it does not help the long-term benefits of the east part of Taiwan. So it's best to go ahead and educate the people here that have already grown attached to this land already. Okay, so why is this the case? And going back to 2017, in the morning Dhamma talk, and this is what Master said, it's not that there isn't anyone in the Saha world, it's just that they're lacking this motivation to aspire. And it's not even that they don't have this aspiration, it's that they just haven't shown their true hearts yet. And I think this is true. You know, you have through the vows of Bodhisattvas from other worlds, we can inspire the wills of the Bodhisattvas in the Saha world. We see so many, you know, all these teachers and all these doctors coming from the western part of Taiwan, right? At the early days when Master was building the hospital, they came to this place and they vowed to stay here for years and years and years. They came so that they could educate the students, mostly from the eastern part of Taiwan. And they didn't have their roots here, but they came to educate the people of here. Because these people, most likely, after they're educated, will choose to stay. And I think that was a very, very key part, is that there are people here that are willing to do what is best for the eastern part of Taiwan. What they needed was this inspiration. And you don't need to import all these people and talents and professionals from the Western coast. You can have them here. They just need to be inspired. And it's not that they are not inspired. They just need that spark. And that's the most important thing. So I thought I want to share this with all of you, what I heard on that day. And then I thought about how this was important, so that that's the reason why we have the education system. And that is how chapter 15 actually coincides with our 4 missions. Okay, so that's what I want to share today. Now, I wanted to go into the questions and contemplation. It is something that, thanks to all of you, that we have already piled up many, many questions. So I thought I could take, about 10 or 15 minutes to get through some of the questions that we're seeing here. So the first one that we want to get through, the first question: since learning from Master, the importance of vegetarianism, I have tried to embrace that in life and a business. Yet I have faced tests and resistance from family members. Welcome to the club of trying to promote vegetarianism. Of course, you're going to face resistance. Okay, so the person continued to ask, my family and siblings are very close to me and they can't understand the need for me to be a vegetarian. They said I have gone too far and too deep. It is tough and sad as we are very close. Can seek advice on how to move on this journey as it is becoming a tug of war. So thanks to the person, thanks to the Pusa who asked this question. And this is something that was asked many, many times. And I'll try my best to provide a direction, because I don't think that's an answer. I think we can together have a direction. And the direction, the faith, comes from the sutra. And this is something that I want to share. I think it was a couple of weeks ago in a discussion. Similar questions were asked about how do you have this faith? And one of the practitioners, Sean, he answered that out of the 10 merits, chapter 3, 10 merits, the 8th merits, there was a part that talks about what you can do. So the actual sutra says this in the Sutra of Infinite Meanings, chapter 3, 10 merits. It's a brief paraphrasing of what the sutra said. If there are those that do not believe in karmic retributions, one should follow the teachings in the sutra and with skillful means enhance the faith of others. So enhance the faith of those that don't believe. And what does that mean? It means that it's not enough that you believe it yourself, but you need to make others believe too. And how do you do that? How do you do that, right? And as the person that was asking the question says, it's becoming a tug of war. How do you do this? So you have to think about, there were many, many reasons. And I think there were other sessions where we have stories, and I think Master Tzu Huang shared many stories about why vegetarian is important. So Master also, every time, every Monday, every Tuesday, always give us stories and different explanations on why vegetarianism is very important. What we can do is, there are many reasons why, and we can pick the ones that are most suitable to the person that do not believe them. And even if they do not believe you, what you can do is show them what you preach, right? Show them that if you tell them that this is good for health, then show them your good health. Show them that you are more energetic. Show them that you are indeed doing more things, more positive things, more compassionate. And these are the things that we can do. That is what the sutra was talking about. You should follow the teachings in the sutra, which are filled with skillful means. Tell them how we can do this. And not only that, I think the most important thing that was said in the Sutra of Infinite Meanings was that you can go into a group of people. The group of people are where the most vast knowledge is from. You can go into your support group, the group where everybody is doing the same thing. They all believe in vegetarianism, and they're all trying to push for vegetarian. So what you can do is ask them, have they encountered the same problems? Ask them how they would deal with that. In fact, the best way for people that have not yet turned vegetarian is for them to interact with people who have just turned vegetarian and who didn't believe you at first either. And why did they believe you now? Because they changed. And what was that transformation? And that you require this similar mindset and attitude for them to attract to each other. That is why we always have these gong show. That's why we always have these gatherings. So it allows people of different backgrounds and similar journeys to talk to each other. And that's what my recommendation is. I can't help. I can only give you this direction because I'm so far away. And we have different cultural backgrounds. But I really believe that it takes one to help another. And this one person might not be you, but it might be you who you can bridge your family members to the others who have already done so. Okay, so the next question, is Pure Land part of heaven? What is Master's take on Pure Land? According to a Buddhist friend, so you have another Buddhist friend, they aim to reach Pure Land and not return to the Saha world until they have attained Buddhahood. And only after that, they would return to Saha world to purify sentient beings. So the person is asking for some comments on this. Now, it is my belief that each has its own teachings, okay? Each sect, each path has its own teachings. And so for Master, I believe that Master teaches us that Pure Land is on earth, that we attain Buddhahood here, that we practice so that we can attain Buddhahood. And after we attain Buddhahood, we come back to this world because there was so much suffering here. So that is our path. Now, there are others with difference in opinions. And I don't think that there is anything wrong with that. Let me explain to you what I meant. So this is what's the school system here in Taiwan. So we have, before college, there are 3 parts, right? So there's the elementary school, okay? Elementary school, which is from grades 1 through 6. And then junior high school, it goes from 7 to 9. And then high school, it goes through 10 to 12. That is the system here in Taiwan, okay? In Taiwan, it's like this, right? 6, 3, 3, okay? Now, when I went to the US, it's not always like this. There were schools that follow this very system, but there were schools that have grade 6 going into junior high school, and then grade 9 going into high school. So you have elementary school that goes from 1 through 5, and then you have junior high school that goes through 6, 7, 8, and then you have high school going through 9 through 12. So you have these different systems because they believe that perhaps as early as grade 9, you should begin to mingle with the upper class, the 10, 11, 12. Beginning to go into the society, before you go into the college, you begin to mingle with you're no longer just a freshman. You're a freshman, and then a freshman in high school, 9th grade, and then sophomore, junior, and senior. Okay. So there are different systems, but they all reach the same goal, which is grade 12. But in the middle, there are differences about, do you go to junior high or do you go to high school? You are now going to grade 9. I reached the same problem. I could stay in my junior high school and be the top because we're grade 9, we're the biggest, we're the oldest in the school. Or you can go to high school in grade 9 and you'll be the bottom. Okay, you'll be the youngest, the lower classman, right? So you can make either choices, however choices you want. But which is better? Which is better? And how do you choose? Well, I didn't get to choose because it was the school in our district. I had to go where we had the schools. It was very simple. I didn't get to choose. Same thing, the school and the different path of Buddhism. How do you choose? Which is better? And many, many times, this particular school and path comes to us at an earlier stage in life. You take it because that was the only path. However, after you have advanced on it, you make your own decision. Like, for example, if I were to have children, I will know my own experience, and then I would take my experience and guide my children to go to 9th grade in high school. That's what I would do. I think that would be better because I have gone through it before. Now, there will be other parents who thinks that 9th grade in junior high is better, and that is fine because they have their own experiences. So what I'm trying to say to you is this: whether it's Pure Land on earth or people that will go to Pure Land and practice until they are prepared and come back to the Saha world, it's almost like you stay here in the junior high school or you advance to high school first. It really doesn't matter. It eventually all comes back to finishing 12 years and then getting to college. It's the same path. It's the same destination, just different path. Which one is better? You choose. You come to this Dharma path now. And maybe because you didn't get to choose, maybe because it was your friends that got you here and you didn't know anything. So you come in here. Now you're in here and you hear your Buddhist friends saying this, make your own choices. Make your own choice to say which one is better. Do you believe in what Master is teaching? That we are here doing what we needed to train ourselves to be Bodhisattvas, and then as well as fostering good affinity. If you believe that, then stay. This is the right school for you. But at the same time, there's no need to discount other people's path because they also have their own beliefs and they also believe that their path is fine. Just like, do you switch to high school when you're in grade 9 or not? It's up to your experience. But for me, I am very certain this is my path and this is what I want to do. So answering those questions. Okay, so that's what I believe, and I hope that this will also affirm your faith. And this will also help you affirm your faith in this path. And not only that, once you affirm, you are also able to continue and let other people know why you have such conviction. Okay, so that's my sharing for today, and also the QA for today. I thank all of you who have taken the time to ask these questions, and I welcome more questions, and hopefully in the future we have more opportunities to interact with each other. Okay, with these questions. Thank you, and now we move on to the next portion. Thank you.
BrotherJoe, for the wonderful guidance and insights on Master's teaching, and also clarifying on these two questions. I'm sure the one is raised by the medical doctor, and other one by a patient. Volunteers trust will felt that they have more information to walk on this path. Okay, today we are very grateful to have with us SisterSharon and BrotherRobertLin from Australia. It's a topic, spreading Dharma with mindfulness. Okay, over to you, our diligent sister Sharon.
Thank you, Sister Tzu Chi. Good morning, Master of the Abode, BrotherJoe, and all brothers, sisters around the world. My name is Sharon, and thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to share today. And today, BrotherRobertLin and I would like to share with everyone on the topic of spreading Dharma with mindfulness. Australia has always been hailed as a paradise country, but when COVID-19 hit us, it took our nation with a shock. How can this pandemic take our world with surprise? The virus does not choose which country, what religion, or what age. Anyone can be infected and affected. Suddenly, we are facing a risk unlike any we have ever seen before. Our comfortable lives that we have led up to until now have not prepared us to deal with the potential for our own premature death or those of our loved ones. We all were psychologically ill prepared to deal with its meaning and its consequences. Our just-in-time ordering meant that vital ingredients such as critical medical equipment like face masks and ventilators had not been stockpiled. We suddenly realized the seriousness of this virus, and everyone went into panic and starting acting irrationally by panic buying all manner of items at supermarkets. One of the most bizarre items that Australia went crazy to buy was toilet paper. That didn't make any sense. But nevertheless, supermarket shelves were empty within days. We made international news headlines over this panic buying of toilet paper. Here's a clip of the one from the newspaper here. So can we say COVID-19 is both a wake-up call and a cruel teacher? We take out insurance on our property, even though we hope that we will never see a fire, flood, or tornado. And we cannot count on ramping up supplies rapidly at home. But who would have thought of taking insurance policy on toilet papers, masks, and so on? What were simply basic necessities for all generations before us became a luxury overnight. We are grateful to Master who continuously nurture us with Dharma. Master speaks of suffering all the time. What we witness in this pandemic is images of suffering. Images of life is impermanence. Our 4 missions are to face such suffering, such impermanence. Master says we need to bring in our wisdom in situations like this. We need to remain calm in this pandemic and allow wisdom to walk in front. We need to be calm and be clear on what we can do to help. With deep faith, with a heart of loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity, Sydney sprung into action. We approach hospitals to offer face masks to the frontline staff. Doing charity in Australia is not that easy. Even if you want to donate, the government might not want to accept. We have to go through so many hurdles to comply with so many rules and regulations before they can consider whether to accept or not from our organization. However, With patience and sincerity, we finally gained acceptance from the hospitals. We donated over 40,000 face masks in Sydney and in a similar amount of face masks to all other states across the whole Australia. We reached out to over 47 hospitals from 5 different districts in New South Wales. Here are some of the pictures of our donations. As you can see, we went from one hospital to another, and then the whole group of us, all volunteers, all Bodhisattvas, went along to give. Here's a video clip of what the hospitals has to say about our Tzu Chi face mask donation.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you to Tzu Chi Australia for providing and donating to us at Northern Sydney Local Health District 6,000 masks. My name's Amanda Harris, and I'm the lead of the performance support team in the district. These masks are really valuable to us. They're going to go to helping our doctors, our nurses, and our allied health staff at the front line to protect us from COVID-19. They'll also go towards helping our community as well. We also need to provide them with masks at times also. These masks will go to each of our hospitals, Royal North Shore, Hornsby Hospital, Mona Vale, and at times Macquarie Hospital as well. So it's really valuable that these masks have come to us. We have needs of other things, and we will certainly reach out to Tzu Chi when we need them. There's a big machine behind us in health, looking after us, making sure we've got all the right equipment to keep our staff safe. And it's really comforting to know that Tzu Chi is part of that. So thank you very much. Thank you, Sharon.
Sorry. After donated to over 20 hospitals in Sydney, we tried to reach out to countryside hospitals. We managed to reach out to the John Hunter New England local health districts, which comprises of 27 hospitals. We drove for over 2 hours to reach the head office of these hospitals. The districts provide health services to many rural hospitals. This district respectfully acknowledges Aboriginal people as the traditional owners and custodians of the land in which most of their facilities are located. We are grateful to get the opportunity to reach out to them with sincerity, integrity, faith, and honesty. Here's another video of what the hospital has to say about us.
旅车向北普及澳洲新南威尔斯北部医疗资源相对不足的地区，在地大型教学医院，主要服务对象都是原住民，扩及行政区，足足是台湾面积的3.6倍大。
The hospital has a 600-odd bed base. We have about 5,000 people a day come to the hospital. That's people that are coming to our emergency department, people that are coming for outpatients appointments, we have visitors, contractors. So it's quite a very busy little spot.
慈济志工将6000片医疗口罩和300瓶干洗手赠予医院，希望提供第一线医护及行政人员防疫保障。
Thank you for coming all this way and dropping off this amazing donation of masks and hand sanitizer. So we thank you all very, very much.
在澳洲要对医院进行捐赠实属不易，必须通过一连串验证程序。有志工刚做完干细胞移植手术，也跟着走上这一条不简单的付出之旅。
From our donation of fixed face masks, we built up closer relationships with these hospitals. As Master always said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. From that one step, we started to develop good relationships. Believing in our sincerity, the Northern Sydney Local Health District, which comprises of hospitals, kindly accepted our donation of chemotherapy and chemotherapy bags for the cancer patients. In Australia, hospitals are not allowed to advertise or promote any external organizations, but the Cancer Council of the district happily allowed us to put our Tzu Chi label on every chemotherapy drainage bags donated because they trust our sincerity. We are very, very grateful to that. Like what Master says, everything starts from a single step, and one action can lead to the another. These chemotherapy bags are also all handmade with love by Tzu Chi volunteers, including one mother of an autistic child who comes to Tzu Chi with care songs, performing hand language, as well as performing traditional dances for them. everyone in the hospitals are starting to know us and welcome us. Step by step, we build up our relationships with mindfulness with the hospitals so that we can each give out our help and to relieve the suffering of patients. To us, this is a real Dharma. Besides the hospitals, many vulnerable people reach out for help. Again, without delay, Tzu Chi saw the need to go out and help these vulnerable and homeless people. Our CEO, Brother Randy, identified many different communities in need and led the whole team to go out and help. We started cooking meals for the vulnerable and homeless. We reached out to different community centers to deliver over 145 meals weekly to the vulnerable. In Parramatta, an area of Western Sydney, we work collaboratively with a church called the Parramatta Mission Uniting Church, who's
doing the meals. There were actually many recipients, but we don't usually take photos of them without consent. We have to be very mindful. As the church recognizes Tzu Chi more, the coordinator, Paul, asked SisterSharon to paint a picture for them in their mission. As many people go to their mission to collect meals, they would like her to paint something that can lighten up their moods of the people. Without a second thought, Sharon said yes. After much thought, she decided to paint a path that gives courage and hope to these homeless and vulnerable people, a path for them to move forward, and an image of them not being on their own. There's always a support person next to them. They are never alone. We want them to know that we love them and will not abandon them. Here is the painting. She took the opportunity to include some words of support and encouragement with the painting. Underneath the painting, she wrote, "As long as we have hope, tomorrow awaits. As long as we have love, today is beautiful." We hope these words can give them a sense of strength and courage. Okay. 2 months later, Paul came to ask SisterSharon again. This time he asked whether she could paint a painting which expressed darkness in it. As the homeless people are full of worries and afflictions in their mind, he asked whether she can paint something that expresses that situation. And from the darkness, paint something to make them feel there is hope. Out of this darkness, there's light of hope. Again, she said yes. She never refused. Here's the painting. She created a storyboard of 3 paintings. The first picture, where one could be in the dark, enclosed tunnel with a lot of worries in their mind. The second picture with courage, hope, and faith. They walk out of the darkness to the light. And the third picture represents happiness. They are out of these dark places of their lives. This time, she put in Master Jing aphorism underneath the painting. The Jing aphorism, she said, she used a lot for herself and for many others as she accompanied the cancer patients. The painting was presented to Parramatta United Church last month. Here is the video clip.
Just the bottom line was it touched everyone. Your first painting touched everyone. So when I saw this one, I thought it couldn't be better, but it was. Right? It was. Whilst your first painting depicted one journey, one point in the journey. This one takes us from many points in our journey. It takes us when the sun is shining, it when the sun is not shining, and then the sun shines again. So it's that journey through from darkness through to light. And that's the journey I share every day with everyone here. Right? Some people are here, some people are here, some people are here. Some people don't know where they are. It captures our value of faith, right? And the concept of hope. Yes. Nothing's impossible. Yes. Right? So it captures hope, it captures faith, right? Because it was given from the heart, it captures graciousness. And it's not culturally specific. It appeals to everyone. Yeah. So what you've done fits totally with the foundation of our values. So for that, I'm very, very grateful. The message visually of the picture is exceptional, but the true message is underneath it. Yeah. People read this, and it's everything we do. Yeah, I know. Everything we do. So thank you so much.
So with mindfulness, we spread the Dharma in Australia. Kan'en, this is my sharing. I'll pass it back to you, Sharon.
Thank you, Brother Robert. This cruel teacher, the COVID-19, did awaken us and taught us a lot. After all, that cruel teacher is not really that cruel. This teacher awakened us all. The world will never be the same after this pandemic. Our way of thinking, our way of doing things will never be the same. As every day, Paul says, as every day over 150 to 200 vulnerable and homeless go to the church to collect meals. We hope that everyone can read Master's Jing aphorism. Paul also said most of the recipients he spoke to actually see themselves in picture number 1. We hope when someone has lost hope, lost belief, Master words can soak them up with positive emotions and determination by encouraging and developing faith in them. And with faith, we, Tzu Chi volunteers and Paul and everyone, hopefully we can all lead them out to picture number 2, and from picture number 3, they can stand on their own and have happiness in their life and see happiness in their life. Here, I would also like to share a bit about the recent flood that hit New South Wales. It's been called many things. A once in 100-year flood, unprecedented and chaotic flood. Thousands of people were ordered to evacuate. Overnight, many people lost their homes and most treasured belongings. One of the most striking images of the floods has been the sight of the New Windsor Bridge, which submerged in rolling water. Even though the bridge has been designed to cope with the high levels of rainfall, unfortunately, waters rose and crested over the supposedly flood-proof bridge. This is a picture taken from the housing area of Windsor. As you can see in this picture, the only form of transportation at the time for residents is by kayak. This picture is very touching for me to see, as you can see how residents are trying to help each other out by transporting sandbags to a house in need. Tzu Chi again sprung into action. Without waiting for the New South Wales State Emergency Services or the Rural Fire Services, we drove to this affected area. Leading by Brother Randy, our own CEO, we actually approached to the households who need help. We knocked on their door, asking them if they needed a helping hand. Knowing which houses needed help, we went back to get our team ready for action. And that all happened on one day. That very same day, we set up our team, prepared some blankets, went to get some toiletries, and made our way to Windsor the very next day. Here's a picture of our team already in action to help the residents. With buckets and mops, we grouped ourselves into few teams. We helped move all their damaged furniture to the roadside, clearing the house ready for cleaning. As you can see from this picture, most of the goods on their ground floor of the house were badly damaged by the flood. And with our manpower, a whole group of us of 21, we helped them carry out all these damaged furniture to the roadside. Our team helped mop, clean, wipe, and sanitize their place. Masters always says that there is Dharma for us to learn, as this world has both happiness and sufferings. We all must learn the Dharma, put it into practice, and become Bodhisattvas in this world. We all need to harbor our gratitude within ourselves as we go out to help others. We talk to the household, listen to their stories, and share time sharing their pain. One of the things that really touched me is that when I hear about families, what felt most sad to them. What felt most sad to them was the loss of their treasured belongings, irreplaceable, such as photos, awards, children's certificates, and so on. So we help them lay out all this to dry, and hopefully we can still save some of the certificates. Master always says, if it can make a difference to even one person's life, we must do it. We must help give others strength, hope, care, and courage for them to soldier on. Master says, for those who hate of us, we draw near to, serve and respect them. For those behind us, we offer empathy, loving kindness, friendship, support, and so on. Let me share a video clip of what happened that day on our cleaning day with everyone. Kanan very sorry. Actually, I didn't finish that bit. Sorry. Can I just go back for a second? I just lost it. I suppose it's all right. I'll just finish it there because it just stopped. Kanan very much for giving us the opportunity to share about what's happening in Australia. We hope we can continuously spread the Dharma, encouraging more people to walk in this Bodhisattva path with us here in Australia. Kanan, let me just see if I can. Oh yeah, I can get it. If I can just because the last bit I just like to share with everyone too. Yeah. Sorry. Oops, the music just stopped. Doesn't matter, it's all right. Kanan everyone, and here from Australia, Sydney. Kanan brother and sisters, and Kanan BrotherJoe.
亲爱的师兄师姐，大家早上好，非常感恩，这次在Sharon的分享之下哈，那 Robert 还有那个还在Sharon，对，就是Sharon，尤其在身体这样子恢复之后，还能够这样子投入我们慈善的行列，然后带动那么多人，然后一起大家来行善。那苦难的人走不出来，我们有福的人走进去。那上人真的在我们这么样的一个平安的环境，我们真的要懂得感恩和惜福。那同时上人也教导我们要知福、惜福再造福。那启动更多人的爱心，大家一起来行善。那唯有人人来行善，才能够一善破千灾。那尤其现在的疫情我们也知道就是我们必须一定要赶快来斋戒茹素来减碳，才能够让全球这一波的疫情能够早日平安度过。那这些上人也告诉我们，现在真是非这个斋戒茹素、虔诚求忏悔之外，要斋戒茹素，我们非推不可，非做不可。那我们上人也告诉我们说，这一波的疫情不是能力所能阻挡。那除了刚才讲的说，唯有斋戒茹素，那这一些的动物，其实我们说人类是万物之灵，那其实我们应当更有慈悲心和同理心，去感受动物它所被杀的痛苦。那这些动物它们被杀，其实大家就是他们含冤含恨，不肯去投胎，那在虚空中化作病毒，要找它的宿主。所以如今上人就是告诉我们的灵方妙药，那我们希望说敬爱师兄师姐我们一起都来响应斋戒茹素之外，那同时我们更来推素。那上人也告诉我们说不要灰心只要有信心、毅力、勇气，我们一定能够成功。那我们在推素的期间当然是非常的困难，但上人说我们不要放弃，我们不要当作我们已经讲过了我们就当作永远都是第一次讲，对，然后这样子我们才不会丧失信心。那我们希望说这份爱的力量然后这份行善的力量，我们能够继续再延续下去。我们希望能够带给除了我们自己家庭的平安，还有社会的祥和，更能够带给世界的平安。那非常感恩师兄师姐你们用心用爱的付出，我们看到了，非常感恩大家，感恩。
Okay, thanks everybody, and it was wonderful painting, by the way. We were all amazed at the talent of SisterSharon. 感恩大家 ，thanks.
，Thank you.
Thank you.
感恩杰师父，感恩 BrotherJoe, of course, 感恩 SisterSharon, Brother Robert. Truly very awesome painting, SisterSharon. Truly very talented and very because of great compassion, sister. Never lose courage, like Master Jie reminded us as we are promoting vegetarianism. Don't lose courage and never lose our faith. Nothing in the world is impossible when you are determined. SisterSharon, the painting also resonates closely with Master's guidance to us. Truly, there are so many feedbacks, such beautiful, meaningful, inspiring paintings. SisterSharon, truly our living Bodhisattva. myriad actions, unforgettable connections.感恩, brothers and sisters, for your great support and presence today. We are very grateful to have our both Mr. Jie and our brother Joe to guide us with the Australia awesome team.感恩for inspiring us this morning.